going to be talking about my testimony in terms of how I got my new job, and just how God came through in terms of every which way. I have a podcast about this, so if you want to listen to that, I will link it down below and you can listen to the full podcast. But I think the podcast was When You Finally Surrender or something like that, or When I Finally Surrendered. That was the podcast name. And the reason why I called it that is because I think for such a long time with the role that I had, I was just holding onto it, and I even felt that I was grappling onto it when it was time to let go. And I felt like the Lord was like, it's time to let go now. Like, this job was just a temporary job, and the reason I gave it to you is because you'd wanted a job quickly after I'd left my other job, kind of impromptu, because I just was not, I could not deal with it anymore. And I feel like the Lord was like, okay, it's now time to let go. This job's giving you what you need to get, and now it's time for you to leave. And it's because it's stressing you out and it's too much. But I almost wanted to leave for so long, and then when I thought that there was no opportunity for me to leave, I just got to a point of, I guess you accept it, and then you go to a place of complacency of just kind of like, well, it is what it is. I'm just going to stay here, sit here, and let it be done. Like, I'm just gonna go through the motions with this job, even though it's, not the best for me emotionally, spiritually, every which way. And I think I've kind of come to a place of acceptance, and maybe that's what the Lord wanted me to do, to come to a place of acceptance, so then it wouldn't feel so, it wouldn't be such a hard decision, and then I wouldn't feel some way about it within myself. But then I got to a place of like, well, Lord, I'm here now, so I'll just stay because I don't want to start again. So the very thing that was meant to be the temporary, I ended up trying to grapple onto it and almost be like, it's my safety net now, so I don't want to move. I just want to stay here because it's safe. And I think maybe the Lord, when I look back now, he was trying to teach me something and show me that you will literally stay in a place that is not great for you because you prefer the familiarity of it, and that's not a good thing. And that made me think, like, yeah, that's not good. That is not good. Like, you will stay in toxicity because it's familiar, and maybe it's something I didn't dive into to be fair, thinking about it now. But yeah, I am that ride or die girl. Like, not like ride or die, because at the same time, like, your girl wants peace. So if you give me too much wahala, like problems, I am skedaddling. But at the same time, I don't want to feel like a failure. So when I feel like, oh, if I let go of this thing, I want to be a failure, I probably grab on harder than when, instead of me just being like, let me just let it go. So I think the Lord kind of showed me that and revealed to me, like, you're holding on to something that is not good for you, but you just want to not feel like a failure, and you enjoy the familiarity of it, and you just don't want to start again. Like, those three things were like my thing. I don't want to start again because I want to get a new job, learn new things again. I'm familiar now with this job. I know it like the back of my hand. I can just literally type away and I know everything. And then the fact in this job, I was kind of independent in terms of like what I did. Like, I kind of got on with my own job, and I was like, I like that. Like, I don't want to be in a job where I'm constantly kind of micromanaged. I'm grown now, before, yeah, but now. And I just kind of had this list of things where I was like, Lord, if I had this new, and it's not like it wasn't for the lack of trying for a new job, because in all honesty, like, after a year and a bit with the role that I was in, I was kind of like, oh, it was really stressing me out. I was trying to plan a wedding, but obviously trying to get a new job while trying to plan a wedding isn't really like I would recommend. So I was kind of just like, let me just not start that process, because then it's just going to be another thing. So I just kind of stuck through it during my, me planning the wedding. And yeah, it was what it was. I just did what I did. And then I think it finally got to the, after the wedding, the Lord was like, blink, blink. You're gonna leave? And I was like, no. I'm gonna stay right here and be comfortable in the familiarity, and know that I know my job. I know it stresses me out, but I'll just deal with it as it comes. And then I think I just got to a point, I was like, you know what, I can't be this stressed anymore. Like, I think that was the time I was trying to work on peace, and I was like, I need to get my peace back, because I don't have peace. Like, I'm constantly anxious, I'm constantly, on edge. It wasn't, yeah, because of the job, let's be honest. And I was like, okay, we are gonna start looking for jobs, but I'm gonna trust the Lord. And I just said, Lord, I'm gonna start looking for jobs, but I'm giving it over to you, because I don't want to just get the wrong job, and you know how I am, and I just needed to have these things. I didn't say I even need it, because some of it I didn't even say it to the Lord. I said it internally. Do you know when you have it in your brain, like, I hope it has this, or I wish it has this, and you kind of have that hope. And I did that. I was like, I needed to close to home now, because I'm too old to be traveling. My young 21-year-old would be like, yes, I'm traveling, you know, I get to go here. Now I'm like, no, I want to stay within the 3 meter, 5 meter radius. Like, let's just not be doing it anymore. Like, I can't. So yeah, that was one thing. I just needed it closer to home, rather than me trekking trains, taxis, buses. I didn't want that. And even when I did drive, I knew obviously I'm planning on driving at the moment. I'm learning to drive, and I know I will be able to drive soon. But even then, it still would have been a lot, because you know, driving is just as much work as, you know, sitting in a bus or a train. So I was like, even if I do pass my test, I still don't see this life, you know, happening, because it's just still a lot of travel. So in my brain, I was like, it's still not, you know, computing is still not matching up, because even if I did drive, it's a bit worse. So that was one thing I did consider, if anyone's thinking that. So yeah, radius wise, and I was like, I did want it back into the area that I used to be in, which I used to work in. So I was like, Lord, let it be in the field that I used to be in before I left that field, because I just thought, it's now or never. I think it's time for me to just go back into the field that I started working in, and it's the longest field I've been in. And then I said also, I think those are the main kind of things, was the radius and just it to be in terms of the field that I wanted it to be in. Those were kind of like the two mandatory things I was kind of thinking of. And then after that, I was like, and you know, pay, I wanted to kind of match my pay. It didn't, but it was okay. And two, to be fair, and oh yeah, that's one thing. I feel like also the Lord had to kind of humble me, because the reason I didn't want to leave was because of the pay. And I was like, okay, I feel like I'm making money my thing, like the thing that's holding me, and I don't think that's healthy in any way. All this is obviously, it's good, you know, to have, you know, to increase and have, but I was like, if I had to choose between money, I was almost sacrificing my own peace for the sake of the money. And that's the reason I feel like the Lord wanted me to come out, because it was almost like, you're going to continue to stay in here, this place, because you just constantly wanting to be like, listen, I'm earning a decent amount, I've got the opportunity for bonuses, I've got the opportunity for, you know, my pay to increase each year. And I feel like it became a thing, like it became like my God, so it wasn't good. So once I also realized that, I was like, okay, I'm letting go. Like, that's when I was like, you know what, this is not healthy. I shouldn't be, you know, pursuing money over my own spiritual, emotional, physical peace. You know, I was coming home tired. My husband could see I was tired. I couldn't lose weight. In all honesty, I could not lose weight, because I was so stressed. The cortisol was coursing through my body, enjoying every bit of my anxiety, because I was literally like anxious. When I say I was waking up crack of dawn to get these taxis, well, not taxis, but bus, and get trained, get a taxi there, then it was, when I used to tell people at work, they'd be like, why are you doing it, Cedar? Like, what are you doing? Like, I was like, oh, it's fine, you know. And I could handle it at the time. I think when I was doing 1 day a week, and then obviously when the times I had to go in more, it was just a lot. You know, and considering I don't drive, it's just even, well, you know, a lot. And the fact that, you know, in the UK we had a lot of train strikes, that was just exacerbating the stress, because at one point I nearly got stranded in a town or city, because the trains literally, I got out of work and everyone's like, the strikes have started. I was like, how am I meant to go home? I literally had to wait, I think like an hour and a half, because my train never turned up. So I had to end up catching a different train to go somewhere else further, to then get the train that I needed to get home. And then even then, I remember the conductors being like, yeah, if this train doesn't come, you are gonna have to like stay somewhere, or find alternative routes home, because the trains are literally, if this doesn't come, then it means then there's no other train coming. And I was like, I'm gonna just get a hotel here then today. So, and my husband, bless him, was like, I'll drive down, I'll come get you. And I was like, don't, it's fine. And the train did come, thank God. But I think after a few instances like that, that just made me feel like even more vulnerable, and just, yeah. And it just wasn't good for my marriage and my personal life, in terms of just, I was tired. I was dreading Mondays. Every Sunday I'd be like, oh, it's Monday tomorrow. My husband like, you're constantly dreading the Mondays, like obviously everyone can dread Mondays, but I think I took it to a whole new level where even the morning of the Sunday, I'd be like, oh, it's Monday tomorrow. And it's like Sunday has been finished and I'm already thinking about Monday. So it just got to a point it wasn't great for my mental health. But I ended up saying that I applied for a few jobs here, dribs and drabs, but I wasn't kind of like going gung ho for it. And then one role came up where, yeah, later on in the year, like this is like a few months into it. Like it took a few months to even get the new role because I was like saying I was applying for just one job here there, and then if I didn't hear anything back, okay. And then if I did hear anything back, the role was very low wage, and obviously I did want something where I could live on. You know, my husband didn't care. He was like, as long as you're happy, that's the main thing. In terms of just you need to get to a place where you're happy and you know you're emotionally not anxious all the time. So I felt at peace in the sense like I could get a less paying job and we would be fine because my husband was like, I got you, kind of thing. But still, I didn't want that burden on us either. You know, I'd like to be, you know, practical at the same time and just logical, you know. So some of it were just too low where I would be like, and even then the roles sometimes weren't the roles I was wanting anyway, so it was fine. And I wouldn't either hear anything back or it was just either one of the two. Didn't hear anything back or it was pay was quite low or distance. So obviously that wasn't ticking the boxes. And then I got this role where they called me. I don't even know how I applied for it. I can't remember even applying for it. So, you know, and then they got back to me, did the interview and everything, and I was kind of like, this is interesting, I don't mind having this role. But then I did say to Lord, like, if it's not for me, please take it away, because I felt like sometimes, you know, when you just want to move jobs, you can just say yes, and then you say yes to a role that's not really meant for you. And thank you, Jesus, he did, because they came back to me, I think, the week after and said, unfortunately, they've removed the job post, which apparently happens. Sometimes they just decide we no longer need the role, so it's fine. And I was like, that's fine, I'm happy, Lord. Thank you for taking it away. Because also I found out the pay was quite low, but I was willing to take that role because I was like, it's in the field that I want it to be, and I'm trying to die to myself. I'm trying to die to the money. So and then location wise it was close by, so even better. So I feel like it ticked the main bits of like the location, the field that I wanted it to be in. Money, not great, but it's fine, you know, it is what it is. I'm trying to die to that part of me anyway, so I was kind of like content. And then when they said no, I was disappointed, but I was like, it's okay, because I did pray to the Lord to remove it if it's not for me, and it wasn't. And then they came back to me 4 weeks later and were like, we loved you on the interview, want you back, please can you know, do you mind, we've got a new role, would you like to be a part of this role? And I was like, yeah, of course. We're still in the same field of the area that I wanted to be in. It was the same company, and it was literally like 20-25 minutes walk from my house, which I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And if I drive, it's literally 5. So even better. So I'm like, Lord, you literally just thought of everything. Like, your girl still got legs. She needs to get there. But once she stops using her legs all the time, she can drive there 5 minutes, and it's even better. So, and part of me was like, obviously when we do have kids, I did want to like contemplate that part of it of like, if I do have to do a school drop off and all that, like, I'm practical, guys. I'm telling you now, I think ahead. I think ahead, okay? This is how much I dive deep into like my life. I don't play around. I'm trying to make it practical for myself when I get kids, everything around. Maybe it's because this is the last born in me, and I saw all my siblings stuff happening. I'm like, watch out for that then. Watch out for that. So I feel like I got to learn to kind of think ahead and always be thinking practically and logically. So things like that I was thinking about, just to make life easier for me, more than anything. So it wasn't as great, but it was still more than the previous amount they'd actually offered me, so God is good. So I was just like, what the heck is happening? And I accepted it. At the time I thought, maybe no, you know, let me just wait. I was like, no, I think this is the right, like, for them to come back to me. They didn't have to come back to me. They could have just forgot me and been like, you know, it is what it is. She was great, you know, everything. But they kept me on the system, got me back, and you know, I got paid more than the previous role that they even advertised. So I was really grateful for that, and I was just kind of like, kind of in awe. But I was just like, I just kind of, it literally felt like all the pieces, like the Lord just literally put every piece together. It just, like I can see why people sometimes just like let God do it, because when He did it, it literally just was like immaculate. Better than what I could have done in terms of location, in terms of the field I was in terms of just the people, the company itself, just all the things I worried about, just I didn't need to worry about. And let me tell you also, sorry, it's going to be a long one, guys, but yeah, I might chop it into part two. But another thing that I need to say is I'd been trying to drive for a full year. Well, while I was trying to have my wedding, I was trying to find some driving instructors. When I say in 2023 December, I started like contacting people, being like, 2023, no, December 2022, messaging people like, hello, do you have spaces for driving? Please do get back to me. And there was a lady who lives close by, and I was like, do you have any space? She said, no, but I can give you 3 people I know. Did they all, any of them have spaces? No, not for the life of me. I literally looked for a full-on year. No one would have me for. I felt like the door was shut, literally. Like I felt like was the hand of God. Like there's some things where it's just like, it's coincidence, yeah, it's busy. But I was just like, even the expensive ones didn't want me. Like I was like, I'm not even going cheap anymore. Like I'm not even trying to go find the deals in terms of like driving instructors. As soon as I got this job, I was like, let me just get back into this, try and find a driving instructor, because I need to get it done, because my hours are a lot better. I can, the hours too were better, so even better. I could rest, but then I could also do a lot more things. And then I was like, let me find someone. Let me try and email a few people. I think I emailed one person. No, yeah, emailed one person to get back to me. And then another one, and then a second one. I think I maybe did 3 in total, 3 or 2. I can't remember now. But one of them emailed me and just said, these are the prices. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is the one I kind of wanted anyway, because I'd seen the reviews, it seemed really good. And then they said to me, we will be available mid-September if you want to start, put a deposit. Within the space, I want to say a week even, I'd booked my lessons for like the September. So they were like, it's just a 2-week wait. I'd booked my lessons in, quickly put them in. I was just like, yeah, I want these dates, because I was scared that they would go. And I was just like, with the history of me just not even getting a driving instructor, I literally got a driving instructor. It was literally felt like everything, like it was like almost a domino effect. I got the job which I needed and required at the time, finally obedient to the Lord, and almost like the driving instructor came along too. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, after all this time of trying to like push and trying to get an instructor, it literally took me less than a week, when it's been taking me like a year when I was in the old job. And in all honesty, in the old job, just wasn't going to be physically even practical for me to do it, because I was obviously coming back very late, starting work very early anyway, and even the days that I had, most of the instructors were like, we can't do them, I'm not available on that day, or it's just always something. It just felt like always something. This one, so easy. He was like, I'm free these dates. I was like, perfect, because those were the dates. I like an early drive, I like a quick get it done, get to work. And he was like, yep, I'm available at that time. And I was like, God, again, because most instructors would have been like, yeah, after 5. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I can do it, but for 2 hours it's a lot. So I was just like, God, again, it's done it. So I just wanted to share with you this. Sorry, I've been rambling, but it's just, every time I say it again, it just reminds me how good God is, because even though I thought I had the, ultimate control, and I was trying to control everything and be my perfectionist way, God was like, no, just let go, because once you let go, everything else will just fall into place. And it did, literally a domino effect. It was like, everything just was like, the things even I didn't even say that I wanted, the driving, I kind of was wishing, hoping to, want to drive, but it felt like I was an extra add-on in terms of just getting this role. And the distance was just better than anything I could have imagined, because I was just happy with a bus ride. I just wanted one bus ride, get to work, and that's it. I literally was content with that, whereas now I don't even need to think of that. I can just drive. Once I start driving, literally 5 minutes away, and my husband will come pick me up. But even when he can't pick me up, I'm like, I'll walk it. It's part of my steps. 20 minutes is nothing. And because obviously I've lost more weight, it just feels like I get there quicker each time. So even though I started saying it was like 30, 25 minutes, I think now it's probably 20 minutes. And and sometimes I don't realize I'm walking as fast as I am. God is good in all his ways. So I just want to, anyone that's might be in a job that's just like they're not happy in, they feel like it's just not working out, you don't want to leave, but the Lord is just pushing your hand. Sometimes he has a reason for that. All the things that you worry about, like the things of like, oh, I don't, my old job, I was thinking about the money and all that, and I got this and that. Like, God's added more and above and beyond now that I've left that other job, because even though I might not getting paid the money I wanted to be getting paid, I am happier, I'm freer. I feel like it allowed me to start the healing journey that was required, because I don't think I was in a place to start the healing journey then, because I was just so tense. I was just so like I was literally on survival mode. I knew it. I knew I was in survival mode for the past year and a half, 2 years. I was practically on survival mode. I was just trying to get each day through so that I can get to bed, hope for a good sleep, and then get up again. Like, that is not a life to live, and none of you deserve that. So if you are in a place where you feel like, oh my God, I just need to get out of this place, maybe it is time, consider it, put it into prayer, ask the Lord, and just be like, Lord, what is happening? What do I need to do? Because at the times when we're trying to hold on harder, God's just saying, loosen your grip a little bit and let me do the work. And I feel like once you let him do the work, he does it in a perfect sync, better than I could have. I can't remember applying for this role. That's how I feel like God did it, because I don't remember applying for it. I think I read it and I was like, oh, it's within the field I'm in, let me just and they didn't even put the pay, which I feel like the Lord did it for a reason, because if they put the pay, I think I would have been like more like, no, let me just see if I might get a high paid job, and I still would have been in my flesh with that. And because of that, I feel like that, like I said, started my healing journey this year. Well, more to the end of this year. I did start the healing journey this year in terms of just being more free. I went away to Portugal. I started more intentional in terms of just being more healthy. Started my Manjaro journey and all that. I did all those things, but in terms of I feel like God was trying to get to my spirit, to my soul, and be like, I want you to be fully healthy, fully healed, and fully like whole, rather than just thinking like, sometimes obviously we can start the journey with your physical, which is obviously a good start, but you do also need to always focus on the spirit and the heart. And I feel like God is always holistically working in our lives. He doesn't just want to like make you healthy physically, he wants to help you healthy spiritually as well, because they all coincide, everything works together. So don't just think like, oh, I'm on a weight loss journey. That is great start. Then move on to your spiritual journey, your emotional journey. All those things matter, because I thought, I could just be in survival mode for God knows how long. And I feel like God was like, no, stop. It's time for you to now get to a place of truly healing, a place of true peace. And it's obviously, I've just started it and it's great. Not always easy, there's days I'm in my head, but you know what, I'm grateful that I don't have a job now that's almost like, I had a job, it felt like I had a chokehold. And when you're trying to get peace, but then this job you're working in is giving you more things. I'm not saying you can't have a job that's got a bit more stress, because this job is not smooth sailing all the time, but it's the fact that I enjoy it now. It's the fact that I don't have to struggle in terms of traveling to there, getting to the job. I don't have to think of all these other elements that for me just felt like a waste, because it was like, I don't need to be thinking about getting to my job to then, when I get to the job, I'm so tired from traveling, having 4 hours of travel to then start my job, and then think to myself, oh my God, I've got 4 day of meetings, but then have another 4 to 5 hours of travel back home if I'm lucky, if there's no delays or cancellations. That was literally my waking nightmare every week, like constantly. And it was obviously painful, because I did enjoy my role, like I did enjoy my job, I did enjoy the people I worked with, but it was just something I had to give. Like, I couldn't keep on going the way I was going. So yeah, I hope you guys are encouraged that if you are in a place where you just feel stuck, put it in prayer. Be like, Lord, I can't keep doing this anymore, because he wants to get you out more than you want to get out yourself. Because like you saw in my story, I was in the streets like, it's fine now, like I'll just keep going how I am. And the Lord was just like, girl, no. Because he knew I couldn't keep going the way I was going, even though I thought I could. He was like, I already foresee this, and if you keep doing this, you're going to have a burnout, breakdown, or worse. So yeah, hope this story has encouraged you guys that you can do anything. Just put your mind to it, and sometimes, just not sometimes, but all the time, consult the Lord, because he knows He knows the plans that he has for you, they're for good and not for evil. So yeah, I hope this has encouraged you. Please do like, comment and subscribe below. I do apologize it's so long, but I just thought I wanted to tell you the full story of how this year has been in terms of my new role and how this transformed my life literally. Like, I feel like I'm a new person because of it, and it's just allowed me to be so much freer and allow me to do even this, allow me to do all this now in terms of just vlogging a lot more and doing more content for you guys. So definitely, sometimes you think it's a little change, but it's a change that is actually a catalyst for so much more wonderful things. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.